Let's take a look at a couple of clips, and you can explain to us what we see. The first one, take us through this.
Oh, they're going to get him out of the backfield here. So they motion him, they kind of shift him over into the slot here on the bottom, and they're going to run a fade out. So they're going to run a kind of a deep kind of in route, and then a quick out by Elijah Moore here in the sideline. And what happens because of the personnel groupings, and this is what Kevin Stefanski likes to do. Now he can create a matchup here with Jamin Davis, this linebacker. So this linebacker covering Elijah Moore in space is an absolute mismatch for the Browns. And this is what having him in the backfield does, because now they want linebackers in the game to run the ball. Now, it didn't happen all the time in this game because preseason are everybody's staying base. But what you're going to get is you're going to get people who are either going to match up with nickel and dime personnel, or they're going to match up with big linebackers. And Elijah Moore kind of gives you the best of both worlds. If you're going to go big, they're going to throw you in space. If you're going to go small, they're going to run at you with that powerful offensive line. So he gives you a lot of versatility, and that's going to open it up for Nick Chubb in the run game and Watson in the pass game.
And again, you see the separation and an easy throw for Watson to make to gain yards. And again, that sets things up. Take us through this second clip and what you see with this one.
Run, this is the pin and pull. So this is a 3-by-1, and now he stays in the backfield. They're going to run a 3-by-1 pin and pull scheme here to the field, to the trips look. And Njoku's going to pin that defensive end, Chase Young, and they're going to get outside of it. And Elijah Moore has great speed. But once again, now they're in a power run set, even though they're in a 3-by-1, because Elijah Moore gives you that versatility. So again, the first play, you motion him out, you get spread, you let Watson do his thing. Now you run the power pin and pull. And even though this is to the edge, this is a power run. This is down blocks, and this is getting the big boys out in front. So this is what Kevin Stefanski likes to do. This is creating mismatches. This is getting the defensive personnel packages he wants on the field, and he's dictating, just like Jim Schwartz will do on defense, not the defense. And they're not changing their scheme. They're running pin and pull. They're running zone. Everybody talks about the scheme change. It's more of a personnel change, and he's going to run what he knows how to run and what he's really good at and what he's had great success with. Now he's got the pieces to make that scheme work.
The other thing I would say, watch the top of the screen when Watson hands him the ball. The other part of this play is that defensive lineman cheated, and Watson, if he would have pulled that out, Watson could have walked into the end zone, or he would have picked up substantially more yardage. That's the next evolution of this. That's what they will do with a running quarterback like Deshaun Watson once they start game plan specific kind of things.
And what it does, you don't have to do anything new. So this is just a pin and pull scheme. So if it's just, if it's a non-running quarterback, it's automatically a give, or maybe a run pass option where you're throwing it. With Watson now, you're exactly right. They took multiple players out of the box by simply allowing him to pull it if that backside end crashes. And you hear the term all the time, zone read, but it's really not always zone read. It's just reading the backside end, because a lot of run schemes at the NFL level, at all levels, the backside end is unblocked. So we always used to leave the backside end blocked, and when I had a runner, we would read them. And if we didn't have a runner, it was just an automatic give. So it just gives you another option. It gives you the ability to lighten the box. And again, the stuff they've done is, I've heard that Nick Chubb is he going to get the same amount of carries? He's going to get the same amount of carries, but I think he's going to have a huge year because he's going to run against favorable looks inside the box.
And again, this next clip, the third clip with Elijah Moore, you mentioned that. It lightens the box. It means fewer people that you're looking at.
So again, we talk about the run. We talk about the run game. The last play where he could pull it on the zone read or pin and pull read. So this is just another option. Now they're underneath center, and Kevin Stefanski likes to get underneath center. So this is. The Patriots have 8 in the box. They're bringing the strong safety off the edge here at the bottom of the screen. So technically they have 8 in the box. This is just outside zone with a tag quick game here. This is quarterback and receiver. Everybody else is running zone to the right. Again, doesn't change anything. The offensive linemen get the practice zone during practice. They're not changing their blocking schemes. This will lighten the box. This will mean that you can't do this now, because this is what we've talked about for months. This is easy yards. This was, you're going to load the box, we're going to pitch and catch out here with our fast guy, make a miss, and you got a big play. And this is what the Browns can do now with Elijah Moore. All the run games, Watson can run, and you can always tag backside if they're trying to cheat and crowd the box.
Yeah, the other thing you notice there is the defender's like 7-8 yards off and he misses a tackle. That is the definition of easy yards in the NFL. And you see he picks up the first down without any problem.
Absolutely.
All right, a lot has been made about Percy Harvin because that's a guy that came up through the same system that Kevin Stefanski was in. Take us through what you see relative to Percy Harvin and Elijah Moore.
So right here you have, so they got the same type of body frame. So when I was at camp, I was really impressed how thick, especially his lower body, how thick and strong Elijah Moore is. And it kind of reminds me of Percy Harvin. He has a good, strong lower body. This is a power run scheme. This is a guard, kind of tight end gap scheme where we're going to pull the backside two. We always say it was just a gap scheme. So we're blocking down and we're bringing two. Whatever two teams bring, two different guys, but they're blocking down on the left and two guys are coming from the right, and it's the same side. He's able to, again, so they're technically in empty at the snap of the ball, Brett Favre days, and obviously you're going to get spread. Now you get motion. This is the same thing Percy Harvin did. So Percy Harvin, like Elijah Moore, simply being on the field causes eye conflict for defenders. So they have to find him, locate him, and see what he's doing. By doing that, again, you're thinking and not moving. And once you think, your feet don't move. And in the game of football, especially at the NFL level, it is so fast. And if you can't run, and if you're thinking they're going to block you or you're going to get run by. So this is what reminds me of Percy Harvin, is the ability to do so many different things. This is that power run like Nick Chubb would run. Elijah Moore can do this. So again, they're not giving away tendencies. They can run it, they can throw it. Whatever the defense decides to do, Stefanski is going to figure out what they're doing. And again, I've said it before, I think he's a great play designer. Now he has the puzzle pieces to make this puzzle work.
The other thing is I look at that is you see the guard pulling with a tight end. Can you imagine Wyatt Teller or Joel Bitonio pulling? Elijah Moore doesn't need a whole lot of space.
Yeah, what they do is that, so you have this, when you have these jet guys, these gadget guys, these guys who can make things in space, usually the ends are going to widen a little bit. The linebackers are locating where he's at. You see 21 coming in the box. He's a strong safety. All of a sudden, he has to take on a guard. He's now a run-fit guy. So now you got a guy who's not used to playing run. He has to take on a big guard. The Browns run this counter scheme as good as anybody in the NFL because of those guards. So right now, this would be, Big Teller coming up on a strong safety. That is a mismatch. But again, the eye discipline, what he does is very similar to what Percy Harvin did. He's a guy you have to account for every play. And the Browns have so many other weapons, it's going to make them very, very hard to game plan for.
Let me ask you this. We saw that, and with a running quarterback like Watson, is there always the potential that he could read that? I mean, that was Brett Favre. Brett Favre's not going to go out and run at that stage in his career. Is there always the ability to potentially pull that if somebody's cheating on Elijah Moore?
Browns are going to mean, so there's two different things. One is if the linebackers crowd the box, they can use that RPO game. But for the most part, every run that's going to the right, zone, pin and pull, any counter scheme, you are leaving that backside end. Now, in a counter scheme, the backside tackle will step and hinge on that end, but you can have him do something else. You could have him go to a linebacker or arc and get to the next level. So yes, every run, you can leave somebody unblocked that Deshaun Watson can read. In college, they don't just read the end in college. Sometimes in the NFL, I've seen it a couple times, but they'll actually read the three technique, and sometimes they'll read the linebacker. So every single play, you're not going to get like that was a straight handoff to Percy Harvin. I don't think you're going to get many straight handoffs besides Nick Chubb downhill occasionally on first down. You're going to see a lot of this reading the end, reading a linebacker, either an easy pitch and catch or a designed run off, like a quarterback run off reading that backside end. And they have some design runs, again, the +1 where you can get them out and have Nick Chubb be the lead blocker. So really a ton of stuff that you can do with all these pieces that Stefanski has.